Shrouding the Heavens, Episode 81. Yifan's second sworn brother, Hei Wang, has finally appeared, and surprisingly, he is a dog. After the previous rescue mission to Yuan Chang, the group went their separate ways. The mysterious old man departed first, leaving with Yao Guangshengzi. Yao Guangsheng journeyed to a location significant to her sect mother. Meanwhile, Yifan stayed in Yuancheng, as arranged by Yaochi Sheng. Among the group, Li Desheng's situation was unique. He had no backing from any powerful forces, but possessed the clairvoyant eye, a special ability allowing him to see through illusions. This talent is incredibly rare to cultivate later in life, making him highly valuable to any Holy Land. His ability to perceive what others couldn't attracted invitations from both Yao Guang Holy Land and Yaochi Holy Land. However, Li Desheng surprised everyone by choosing to stay with Yifan. This decision surprised Yifan. Since their journey to the forbidden zone of Taichu, Li Desheng had clearly changed. The old Li Desheng would have never refused invitations from two Holy Lands, but his brush with life and death had shown him that true strength comes from within. Li Desheng was fascinated by Yifan's Yuanqi cultivation and sought to become his disciple. Although Yifan wasn't looking for a disciple, he recognized the benefit of having someone like Li Desheng by his side. On a practical level, he needed help, and on a deeper level, the clairvoyant eye held great potential for Yuan Qi cultivation. Searching for dragon veins often required going underground, making Li Desheng's talent invaluable. As they spoke, a bond formed, leading Yifan to agree to teach Li Desheng. Yifan inquired about Yaochi Shengvi's quest to find extraordinary individuals. He learned that their goal was to seal powerful entities called Yuan. These were no ordinary beings. Even the primordial stone that awakened Erlang Shen's bloodline was one of them. Their immense power meant that even a primordial tree, specifically designed to seal Yuan, could only contain them temporarily. Zhang Jia's ancestor documented a legendary Yuan technique called the 6 Seals of Jixian as the only way to truly seal these beings. This technique required 6 divine primordial stone skins, materials possessing near Tao-level energy. Its power wasn't limited to sealing Yuan, it could also seal mountains, rivers, and even the earth itself, making sealing an expert a simple feat. Out of the 7 primordial stones, only 3 belonged to Zhang Jia's ancestor. The remaining 4 came from a time long past, collected by previous generations of Wangmu. Yifan was astonished by the history behind the 9 primordial stones, even gasping in surprise. They had been sealed by an unknown expert, using a technique similar to the 6 Seals of Jixian. This expert wasn't from the primordial angel lineage, yet their technique impressed even Zhang Jia's ancestor. Worried about Yaochi, Yifan questioned the safety of the 7 primordial stones. He believed that such volatile entities could have destroyed Yaochi Holy Land if they required such extensive measures to contain. Yaochi Sheng didn't hide anything. Their plan was to locate individuals with special bloodlines and, at the opportune moment, utilize the 7 primordial stones to obtain something from within them. After Yaochi Sheng's departure, a semblance of peace returned to Yifan's life. However, the quiet was shattered by screams echoing through Yuancheng. Chaos erupted within the courtyard. Considering the presence of both Yao Guang Holy Land and Yaochi Holy Land members, the audacity of such an attack was shocking. A roar from Yao Guangshengdi's courtyard confirmed the gravity of the situation. It's terrible. The elder has been killed. The death toll climbed rapidly, exceeding a dozen within moments. As the slaughter continued, a stunned Yifan wondered about the cause. What's happening? His thoughts went to Huang Sheiyan. Could this be her doing? Rushing out, he witnessed a gray figure entering his room, followed by more screams. The attackers showed no mercy, even targeting and killing disciples from Yao Cheng. Yifan remained calm, even though the situation unfolding around him was far from what he expected. During their time in the forbidden zone of Taichu, he and the others had endured attacks from mysterious creatures. However, those monsters hadn't followed them after they left the zone. Yifan assumed the danger had passed. Now, witnessing the carnage in Yuancheng, his previous assumptions were overturned. The gray creature, responsible for slaughtering elders and disciples of Yao Guang Holy Land, was approaching his room. The target was clearly Yifan himself. The attacker's sheer strength shocked him. Hiding in the shadows, Ye Fan could only watch as the creature effortlessly killed Yaochi disciples who came to his aid. Even Li Desheng, who had been with Ye Fan, barely escaped with his life, completely terrified by the encounter. He agreed with Ye Fan's suspicion that the monster originated from the forbidden zone of Taichu, and that they were outmatched. The creature, its face hidden by long, flowing hair, exuded an aura of overwhelming power. It effortlessly crushed the weapons of 6 Yaochi disciples, ending their lives in a single swift confrontation. When elders from both Yaochi Holy Land and Yaoguang Holy Land arrived to confront the creature, Ye Fan felt a glimmer of hope. He believed that, even if the elders weren't strong enough to defeat it, they could at least buy them some time. That hope was quickly dashed. The gray monster easily overpowered the 2 powerful elders, tearing Yaoguang's elder to shreds with a single move and brutally killing Yaochi's elder. Its cruelty was absolute. Ye Fan remained hidden as the monster left. Doubts gnawed at him. Did that monster really come from the forbidden zone of Taichu? Something doesn't feel right. Finding a shaken Li Desheng, Ye Fan instructed him to use his clairvoyant eye to observe the creature carefully. A hunch told him that this was bigger than the forbidden zone of Taichu. The real target was likely the Huangshui red ginseng in his possession. Knowing that staying in Yuancheng was no longer safe, even with the Yaochi's protection, Ye Fan decided to escape. Using his shape-shifting technique, he quickly transformed himself into a young boy dressed in purple. However, if the creature was truly after the Huangshui red ginseng, it was most likely guarding the exits. Leaving would surely attract unwanted attention. As he bided his time, Ye Fan noticed another white creature causing havoc. At that same moment, the Supreme Elder of Yaochi Holy Land arrived, along with reinforcements from other major forces in Yuancheng. Battle cries filled the air as figures charged towards the chaos, plunging Yuancheng deeper into turmoil. Recognizing an opportunity, Ye Fan decided to use the distraction to escape. Before making his move, he asked Li Desheng to observe the monster one last time. However, the creature, as if anticipating this, was shrouded in a strange mist, making it impossible for even Li Desheng's clairvoyant eye to penetrate its disguise. Seizing the moment, Ye Fan fled the courtyard. He couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't a creature from the forbidden zone of Taichu. Someone, or something, was impersonating them to obtain his Huangshui red ginseng. His thoughts went to the old man with the sword. The man's strength was a mystery, his true motives unknown. The aftermath of the attack left Yuancheng reeling. Yaoguang suffered 27 casualties, including 4 elders of the Third Secret Realm. Yaochi's losses were less severe, with 18 casualties, but they included 2 elders of the Fourth Secret Realm. Realizing that similar attacks were likely to follow, Ye Fan knew he had to disappear. Maintaining his current identity was no longer an option. The Taoist priest persona had to go. Ye Fan decided to return to the familiar comfort of the stone village near Mount Zi. However, upon arrival, he was greeted not with warmth, but with a ferocious attack. A large black dog, incredibly strong and agile, pounced on him. The dog, shockingly capable of human speech, sent Ye Fan flying with a powerful shake. This dog is a demon, Ye Fan thought, bewildered. Where did this wild dog come from in Wucheng? I don't believe I can't handle you. His fingers glowed golden as he prepared to strike back. You're the wild dog, the black dog roared. The villagers quickly intervened, explaining the dog's presence. It was Hei Wang, brought to the village by Zhang Wuye, and considered a local benefactor. The dog wasn't just a freeloader. It had brought them valuable Yuan stones, and even followed Ye Fan on his earlier journey up the mountain, proving its connection to the area. Amused, Ye Fan chuckled. For the elder's sake, I'll stop calling you a dog. From now on, you're Hei Tailong. Hei Wang was clearly unhappy with the new nickname, Hei Tailong, bestowed upon him by Ye Fan. Their personalities seemed to clash naturally. Putting Hei Wang's antics aside for the moment, Ye Fan questioned the villagers about any unusual events, searching for potential danger. He was relieved to learn that nothing out of the ordinary had occurred. That night, during a celebratory bonfire feast, Ye Fan questioned Zhang Wuye about Hei Wang's origins. Zhang Wuye mentioned the dog's daily ritual of absorbing the essence of the sun and moon on Mount Zi, reinforcing its mysterious connection to the area. Strangely, Despite its abilities, Hei Wang's bone structure suggested an ordinary domesticated dog. Zhang Wei emphasized that despite the dog's arrogance, it was deeply loyal to the villagers, possessing an almost human-like personality. Besides bringing them Yuan stones, Hei Wang had even imparted cultivation techniques to Uncle Wang and Uncle Lei. Ye Fan nearly choked on his drink. This big black dog is full of surprises, he thought. Intrigued, he asked Uncle Wang to demonstrate the technique he had learned. What kind of technique did it teach you? Let me see. The technique was unique and powerful, specifically designed for Uncle Lei and Uncle Wang's particular physiques. It guided a mystical power from their foreheads throughout their bodies. Even Ye Fan recognized its remarkable nature. This rabbit-tailed dog does have some tricks up its sleeve, he admitted, slightly lowering his guard. Uncle Wang leaned in, whispering a word of caution. The big black dog hates being called rabbit-tailed. Uncle Lei learned that the hard way. He often gets bitten. Despite its arrogance, Hei Wang seemed to have a soft spot for Zhang Wei. After glancing at Ye Fan, it raised its head and said, "Brat, why are you always hostile towards me?" Ye Fan, choosing to ignore the dog's question, muttered to himself, "Talk about biting the hand that feeds you." He remained intrigued by the source of the cultivation technique. Hei Wang, with shameless confidence, claimed to have created it himself, describing it as a supreme and unparalleled secret. Skepticism tinged Ye Fan's voice. "Hei Wang, you created it? I've studied countless ancient scriptures, and I've never encountered this technique. Only a handful of great emperors throughout history truly grasped the secrets of heaven and earth." However, when it came to pushing Hei Wang's buttons, Ye Fan was unmatched. The dog fumed at his words. Ye Fan, playing a hunch, continued to provoke Hei Wang, believing its origins to be extraordinary and hoping to trick it into revealing more. "There are only so many scriptures of the Eastern Emperor, and I happen to have memorized one. Let's have a little competition." Hei Wang, seeing through Ye Fan's ploy to gain access to its knowledge, scoffed. "You're not worthy of my supreme scriptures." To its surprise, Ye Fan began reciting extraordinary, albeit incomplete, passages from the void scripture. Not to be outdone, Hei Wang retorted with a profound and cryptic passage of its own. However, as Ye Fan listened, he couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. This isn't something a human can cultivate, Ye Fan realized, a sense of unease settling over him. It's a demonic cultivation technique. He couldn't, in good conscience, acknowledge a demonic scripture. Continuing the competition seemed pointless, as he couldn't cultivate what Hei Wang was reciting. He told the dog to stop. By now, Ye Fan had formed a theory about Hei Wang's true nature. To test it, he attributed his scripture to Emperor Hengyu, heaping praise on the emperor as he had done with Emperor Wuxi. As expected, Hei Wang reacted immediately, agitated and eager to correct what it perceived as a mistake. However, the dog was more cunning than Ye Fan anticipated, keeping its true identity hidden. "Brat, you're too inexperienced to play mind games with me," Hei Wang scoffed. "Don't even dream of getting your hands on my ancient scriptures." Despite its secrecy, Ye Fan was more convinced than ever of Hei Wang's connection to Emperor Wuxi. The dog's next words only solidified this belief. "There were only a few true great emperors of the Eastern lineage," Hei Wang stated. Besides the enigmatic and powerful Emperor Wuxi, Emperor Shihuang and Emperor Hengyu were undoubtedly among the strongest. To Ye Fan's astonishment, Hei Wang not only knew the location of Emperor Hengyu's enlightenment, but also the whereabouts of the complete Shihuang scripture. Excitement coursed through him. But Hei Wang seemed reluctant to share further details. Even after Ye Fan's persistent prodding, he only learned that Hei Wang was not an ancient being, but had a close relationship with Emperor Wuxi. Over the next few days, Ye Fan and Hei Wang continued their playful yet antagonistic dance. The vengeful black dog didn't hesitate to bite, leaving Ye Fan, despite his strength, with several new wounds. Even a man of Ye Fan's resilience was starting to feel embarrassed. Being bitten by a dog daily wasn't exactly a good look. If word got out, he would be a laughingstock. He tried fighting back, but his efforts were futile. His golden fingers couldn't harm the resilient dog. However, his persistence did yield a curious discovery. Hei Wang only relied on its natural abilities, biting and pouncing. it never used any spells or techniques. Unfortunately, Hei Wang was far too cautious to reveal anything more. Extracting information from it was proving more difficult than reaching the heavens. The dog had lived for a very long time and was more cunning than any human. Knowing Hei Wang's pride and avarice, Ye Fan offered a deal: information on the whereabouts of the demon emperor's essence blood in exchange for the ancient scriptures. Naturally, Hei Wang was suspicious, but the drop of blood Ye Fan presented quickly changed its mind. With its ancient wisdom, the dog recognized it as the essence blood of a demon emperor. At that moment, Hei Wang understood its insatiable urge to devour Ye Fan. He possessed a trace of a demon emperor's essence blood within him. As they discussed the blood, their conversation escalated into another heated argument, culminating in a physical fight. Ye Fan unleashed his sun and moon seal, his golden palms striking with force, but Hei Wang effortlessly dodged each blow, landing a few more bites on him. Frustration surged through Ye Fan. Their game of wits continued for several more days. Finally, Hei Wang, unable to resist any longer, offered a new deal: a divine source in exchange for the location of an ancient scripture. Ye Fan simply walked away. "Don't be ridiculous. I want a divine source for myself." 4 days passed. Hei Wang, unable to contain itself any longer, reappeared. The cycle of bickering resumed, but this time Hei Wang sweetened the deal: 1 divine source for the location of an ancient scripture, 50 for a complete one. Ye Fan fought back the urge to smack the dog. 50? Are you serious? How many divine sources do you think exist in the entire northern prison? Go rob someone else. Their argument eventually gave way to a compromise: an exchange of information, revealing the locations of various ancient scriptures. This way, neither side would be giving up more than the other. Still, a hint of reluctance lingered in Ye Fan. To test Hei Wang's true intentions, he produced the green jade mystic tortoise. Hei Wang's eyes lit up. It valued the tortoise as highly as half a divine source, and lunged for it silently. Ye Fan, anticipating this, was ready, but he still ended up with another bite for his trouble. Hei Wang, trying to mask its eagerness, swaggered away, feigning indifference. But Ye Fan saw through the act. The dog desperately wanted that divine source. Their trust in each other was still tenuous at best. Even after learning that Ye Fan had been to the forbidden zone of Taichu, Hei Wang remained unconvinced. Eventually, though, curiosity got the better of it. Hei Wang decided to lead Ye Fan to the Shi Huang scripture, reminding him that obtaining it was a matter of luck. In exchange, if they found anything, both the green jade mystic tortoise and information regarding the demon emperor's essence blood would belong to Hei Wang. Ye Fan agreed. For days, Hei Wang guided Ye Fan through a maze of ancient cities, searching for the right location. Years of seclusion meant that the landscape had shifted, and their memories were no longer reliable. They needed to be thorough. Over 30 cities passed in a blur. Hei Wang sauntered through each one, giving the impression of a leisurely stroll rather than a desperate search. Along the way, it came across Ye Fan's wanted poster, learning more about his past and confirming that the Ji family and Yao Guang were responsible for discovering the yin-yang mirror. Finally, Hei Wang located their destination, the ancient ruins of Yaochi. To Ye Fan's surprise, it was merely 10,000 miles away from the Taichu Valley mine. Curiosity piqued, he questioned Hei Wang about Yaochi Holy Land. It had been incredibly powerful, yet had suddenly relocated. What could have caused such a drastic change? Even Hei Wang didn't have the answer, but the ancient ruins lay before them. Perhaps they could uncover the truth themselves. As if in answer, several white figures streaked across the night sky, momentarily illuminating the darkness. "Yaochi flying immortals," Hei Wang exclaimed. Confusion clouded Ye Fan's face. The concept of immortals was more myth than reality to those who cultivated their strength. Hei Wang explained that the flying immortals were a signpost guiding them to the heart of the ancient Yaochi. However, despite their hopes, the area seemed desolate. Hours passed and their search yielded nothing. This place was a far cry from the legendary Yaochi Holy Land, deepening Ye Fan's confusion. He confronted Hei Wang, demanding answers. The current state of the ancient Yaochi surprised even Hei Wang, but the dog quickly adapted. It theorized that the ruins were sealed, and it began searching for a way to bypass the barrier. It found an unlikely entrance, an ancient well. Even in its sealed state, the ancient Yaochi possessed a unique ability to absorb the essence of the sun and moon. This essence was being drawn into the well. Moving the large stone covering the well's entrance revealed an abyss, its depths impossible to discern. Hei Wang, absent for an unknown length of time, had no knowledge of what dangers may lurk below. After a brief discussion, fraught with uncertainty, Yifan and Hei Wang descended into the ancient Yaochi together. What awaited them defied all expectations. The ancient Yaochi was not the mythical paradise described in legends. Instead, an eerie silence hung in the air, a sense of wrongness permeating every inch of the ruins. They found creatures that should have thrived in such an environment, now dead. A gigantic foxworm stretching over 10 meters long, ancient trees that had witnessed countless seasons, their life force extinguished. All were perfectly preserved, their bodies untouched by decay. The lifeless atmosphere sent chills down both Yifan and Hei Wang's spines. Something terrible had happened here, an unknown event that had silenced the ancient Yaochi and left only death in its wake. Faced with the unsettling aura of death, they decided to leave the area. Thankfully, the heart of the ancient Yaochi had resisted the blight. Hei Wang, keeper of many Yaochi secrets, rejoiced at this discovery. A sense of urgency lingered in Yifan. He couldn't shake the strange feeling that clung to the ruins. He just wanted to find the Shi Huang scripture inscription, claim what he came for, and leave. Hei Wang, however, seemed to have its own goals. It led Yifan to a pristine lake, claiming it was the sacred lake for which Yaochi was named. The spiritual energy emanating from the lake was potent, many times stronger than anything they had encountered before. Simply standing near it, one could passively absorb the essence of heaven and earth, bypassing the need for cultivation entirely. However, Yifan knew Hei Wang well enough to sense its deception. As if to confirm his suspicions, something dragged the dog underwater. A howl ripped through the air as Hei Wang leaped from the lake, fear tainting its features. Then, with practiced nonchalance, it brushed off the incident and encouraged Yifan to submerge himself in the lake to absorb its life essence. Yifan wasn't fooled. He knew better than to believe in Hei Wang's sudden generosity. The dog's earlier struggle in the lake only reinforced his suspicion. Hei Wang was trying to lure him into a trap. As expected, something moved beneath the lake's surface. Several figures swam past, pursuing Hei Wang. Yifan's breath hitched as he watched them. What are those? Had Hei Wang tricked him yet again? Please give us a like and subscribe, fellow Taoists. Let's continue our chat in the next episode.